Today we're going to be talking about feed and general suppliers. So a lot of what you're going to be doing today is going to go back to the same stuff that we were working with before, where we had the center, where we had the CP in the center, and then you're trying to get each of the things on the button on the squares. But we also are going to have some new problems where we're having to supplement with something. And so we have a goal and we have so much that was being used, and then he's wanting to add to it by supplementing with other things. And so be careful when you're reading it. Is it something that's looking for a supplement, or are they looking to come up with a ratio? So if you're looking at supplementing, then you know that you're going to be using all of the first thing. So he needs a ton, which is 2,000 pounds, 15% crew protein for his hog feed. He has 1,600 pounds. So we know he has 1,600 pounds of corn, and that corn has 8.5% CP. And so that means that right now, where he's sitting at, that he has 136 pounds of CP taken care of. Now, we need to figure out how much is going to need to be added of the other stuff. So we need to figure out how much. If we have a ton of feed and we want it to be 15% CP, this is our CP number, how much CP are we going to need? Well, you're going to need 300 pounds of CP. We have 136 taken care of. So let's take off 136. And that tells us that we need 164 pounds of CP with what we're making. So the supplemental stuff needs to provide 164 pounds of CP. So we need 2,000 pounds of food. We're using 1,600 pounds of corn. So that means we have 400 pounds of the other. That needs to be added. So we need to create 164 pounds of CP out of that 400. In order to make a ton. So let's go ahead and think through what we need and what we have. And this time we're actually going to be using some algebraic equations. So I know that I have a supplement and I have soybean meal. I'm going to use M from soybean meal. And this is our supplement. And so I know that the two of them need to be added together, and how much we have of both of those together is going to have to equal 400 pounds. Well, our supplement had 25% CP and our soybean had 58%. So at 25% CP, so that's going to get me how much CP is in my supplement. And then at 48%, my soybean meal, I know that needs to add up to that 164 of the crude protein. And so now we need to figure out, what can I do in order to get it to where I just have one variable? So I need these I would go with canceling out my supplement. And so I'm going to multiply by negative 25 hundredths to my first equation, and that's going to create a new equation. So negative 0.25 S plus negative 25 hundredths M, and then a quarter of 400 is 100. So all of those are negative because I multiplied by a negative. The other equation is just going to come over just like it is. So when I add these together, these will cancel, and I'm left with 23 hundredths of our seed meal needs to come up with 64 pounds. And when I divide both sides by 23 hundredths, it comes up with how much meal I need is 278. So that tells me my soybean meal needs to be 278 pounds. And since I know that I need 400 pounds, so I know I have 400 that's combined of soybean and my supplement. If I subtract out my soybean, that is going to give me how many pounds of my supplement I need. Of supplement. We are going to be working on this assignment today and tomorrow. And just remember, if you're adding in extra, then you're going to take and have to take and do this process. If you're just taking and creating the original agreement, then that's when you get to use the squares.